So I love it. It is passionate. I love the way you describe people in general, and then I love the way you use your descriptions to refer back to them. So in the beginning, you're talking about a few different women in the room, and you describe one of them as being pear-shaped, and then you call her the pear later on. And you do that a few different times throughout the story with different people, and it works incredibly well, and it does this thing that makes it feel as though the narrator and the reader are little best friends chatting with each other. It's the way I would talk to you if we were sitting in church gossiping about someone down the hall or across the room, you know. And you do that very well. You have this way of letting the reader feel close to the narrator. Your dialogue is so snappy and so realistic. It's like you recorded conversations and put them down verbatim. How do you write your dialogue? Where does your dialogue come from?
It depends on.
Your dialogue works, Sandra. It's like you're really good at dialogue.
Well, my dialogue comes from experience in life, and I spend a lot of time listening to people talk on the bus.
You hear
listening to conversations in rooms and how they go, and then I think about how to utilize, you know, the conversation. The conversation is not idle, particularly in a book.
Yeah.
You have to use that stuff. So what's going
to
bring certain things into focus, so that life has taught me dialogue, life, and then I've done a lot of theater.
I was feeling that. I was feeling that there is a play in this story. My favorite couple of lines: many untamed things between her thighs. Love that line. And that one was from. It's funny because I remember that was near the beginning, and this one is almost from the last page. I think they meet in the press, which is just a part of a sentence that you wrote. But you have these little turns of phrase that worked so well that I just love. So those were two that I caught that I loved. I love the Ethiopian food scene. What a sexy food scene. Overall, it flows nicely. It's a beautiful story. There's something about it that feels like just a good old-fashioned romance story, love story. And then it's erotica for sure. So would you say that it is a romance fantasy?
I would say it's a romance fantasy, but there's some things that started that I didn't plan for it to go, that started coming into other parts of who I am.
Talk more about that.
Started to come into play
while you were writing it?
While I was writing.
Give me an example of that.
I did not expect to write the end the way I wrote the end. But that is very much a very big part of me. The whole church scene, my whole spirituality, the whole trust in God, wait on God. Now I'm 42, things didn't unfold the way I thought it would. I'm at this point in my life, and then in walks this person. And though things may not go the way the standard, very square church would seem they would, it's still, you know, God is there. But it's like the whole connection of the spiritual aspect of the whole sensuality of the presence of God and the oneness, the communication, the relationship that walks you through your life no matter where you are, and drawing you to just what you need, whatever that is, even when you're in a place that you haven't given up. I don't want to get preachy. I don't know if I managed to do that in the end, and I'm not trying to throw rocks at men, but I've also been talking to several women, and several things have come up about what's out there. And I found those things coming into my piece. I want it to be poignant for a lot of people. I want people to be able to enjoy it and appreciate it, but I also want it to be focused and poignant where people can say, wow, first of all, that could happen to me, and wow, that is what's happening out there. Wow, maybe God hasn't forgotten about me. And even though I'm out there, I may go to church, a very square church where premarital sex is wrong, and I got an email account, and I'm sending nudes, and I'm doing all this. I done swung out there. But even God is there for me, even though I've done this pendulum, and I don't know what I'm doing. And inside, I may even feel like what I'm doing is wrong. The two characters, and I was like,
and Sandra.
yeah, and I was like, the two characters, I was like, man, I hope Kristy doesn't think that what I'm saying is homosexuality is wrong. That is not what I'm saying.
I don't get that at all from you.
And
In this piece, I mean, this piece is very. It's unique in its presentation of bisexuality. Actually, there's a lot going on in your piece. There's a lot of combination of genre and market. So there's a way in which what you are doing is inventing something. So by genre, I mean...
And which I had hoped that I would. I wanted to create an original, something different.
It is a fantasy. It's not fantasy, right? It's not like princes and elves. It's steeped in reality, where in the world that we live in. It is Christian. It is bisexual. It is erotica. It is romance. Did I say Christian? There's no denying that this piece is erotic. And there's no denying that it's spiritual. There's also no denying that it is black. Right? Also, let's not forget that you don't deny the presence of your main character being a plus-size woman, which we also don't see in erotica very often. I didn't research that yet, but I'm willing to bet it's as scarce as Christian erotica, or close to it. So you've got these markets that you're touching on, who have got to be people. There have got to be others out there who would love to see themselves reflected in this kind of writing, who are not being reflected right now, and that is exciting. That's going to be exciting for readers who find it. So it's sort of mixed spirituality. What's the thing you're proudest of about this? What is the best thing about it to you right now as it stands today?
Having all of those things, the whole person just laid out there for you.
That's what Sandra, the character, does. That's what you've written, is a story of a whole person laid out.
And also, hopefully the reader would walk away understanding that she's not a mistake, I'm not a mistake, that who I am, this is, whoever you are, this is who I am. You walk away with your whole self and embracing your whole self.
So who she is, and accepting, and more than accepting, embracing oneself is to you an important thing. Good.